Hello, and welcome back. To Darksiders II, where we are leaping straight into combat. I keep punching things through the walls. Oh, hello. Combat, to a certain extent, feels a bit more spammy. Uh-oh. Get him. It should be noted that the ghouls do have hit points. They can be killed by the enemy, and certain larger enemy types will murder them almost instantly. Is that a boatman coin? I think it was.
It's time you find something.
So yes, welcome back to Darksiders II Deathinitive Edition. We are making our way through the Drenched Fort, and it appears there's a locked door up here. Can't get through there. There's a lever over there. The question is, how do we get to it? Ooh, hold on. Slicer, slicer, slicer. Yeah, those claws. Ah, there's a key. The claws seem to do a massive amount of damage. Now. Oh, we can't get up into there, up there until we raise the water level. I think. Yeah. So we need to go and do that before we can explore the rest of the Drenched Fort. There are some bits and pieces. That need doing. It takes us up to that lever up there, which we need to open a gate further down. Lots of corruption in this corridor. Oh, and these blooming things. Oh. At least the enemies wait patiently for you to Jess, as much as I really enjoy Darksiders 2, I do think the combat is actually a little bit too fast. It doesn't have the rather extreme weight that the first game did. But that is the point. You know, Death is a more capable, speedier fighter. Why have I come up here? For stuff. That's the other side of said stuff. But what we actually want... There's another use for this bomb. I think. As I said, I'm not as knowledgeable about this one as I am. No. Can he do that? Oh, hello. Chest of treasures. Plenty of potions. Which is good, because we will need them. Bowl. In your door. Where are you going, Dema? Another one of these. Because... can't get up there. There we go. It's a bit weird coming out of that aimed form. Oh, hello. Stinger Hive. Instantly, that bar in the top left-hand corner that's above the health bar is our XP bar. I went and looked it up. Dude, what are you doing? You're stuck. There's a lot of that going around. It has to be said that the Deathinitive edition has a bit of a reputation for being rather buggy. Open the sluice. And it brings back life. But, unlike the other side, This one can't get all the way down because there's a gate in the way. So we need to open that gate. By heading down here. Fortunately, we've already cleared out this bit. So we can now get up here. Then run across the wall. Spot the boatman coin. And that will open up the big gate, which means that we can get back down to the main chamber. Ah. So that is two sides balanced out. And that's a good thing. Bom, 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 bom. So now, dungeon isn't over. Can I hit that from here? It's a bit tricky to aim, to say the least. Through here. There's a big empty room. What do we do in a big empty room? Take a look around. It's boss time. This first proper boss took me a while to figure out what to do. It's a bigger one of these things. Karkinos. Oh, I did not. So we need to grab the ball. If it will actually let me grab it. Come on. And then shove it at the boss. And that will flip it over. And we can hit it in the ass. Take it! Oh, what's it doing? Oh, it's the root thing. No. Oh. That was close. Come on, hit him dead. Not quite. He's going to do the root thing again. Now. Almost there. Not enough wrath. Oh. Reaper form. The unstoppable Reaper form allows Death to inflict and sustain huge amounts of damage. Kill enemies with Reaper attacks to gather Reaper energy. And also the Masher of Karkanos. According to legend, this hammer was recovered from the hoard of a mighty sea dragon. This weapon was wielded in savage battle at the fortress of Karkanos, and it was several thunderous blows from the hammer that finally broke down the gate. Named the Masher of Karkanos, this weapon strikes critical blows more often and unleashes devastating critical strikes upon the enemy. Skill point awarded. So yes, top left hand corner, our Reaper gauge has now showed up, and there are stats on weapons and stuff that can be used with the Reaper form. That's a lot more damage. Can't use the Hammer of Karkanos yet. It requires more stats or levels. Right. As you can see, we can change his gear a little bit more. There is, some argue, a little bit too much in the way of inventory management in this game, and I am inclined to agree. Here we have the last lever. Which will open up the dam. Oop. Didn't actually mean to leap down there. How do I get out? There. Yeah, if you do that too close to one of the sides, he won't leap up. So anyway, that is the Drench Fort complete. And we can now head back to Tristone to complete our first major quest. But we do need to go and see Khan. So we've got the fire coming from one side, the water coming from the others, which means that the forge has been reclaimed. The Maker's Forge. And they are busy making a key for us to use. Seems to be a surprising amount of missing textures and clipping, and I think that's just because of the FOV thing that I'm using.
It is finished then, at long last. Death, this is a Maker's key, and you had best take it now, before I come to my senses.
Thanks.
You seem more likely to lose them, old one.
Ooh.
Problem, aye. But there is also a solution. The Guardian. Meant to be our greatest weapon.
Yeah, these cutscenes are...
The forest around the tree. But an earthquake drove us from the foundry, and now I fear something else roams within. The Guardian.
I might have to turn this FOV thing off.
The Guardian is your masterwork. How am I to complete him?
In the forest lies another construct.
Because he's sunk into the floor.
Few remaining who have not fallen to corruption. He is not as vast as the Guardian, but his heart is strong. Seek him out, and he will guide you to the foundry. There, you may activate the Guardian using the Maker's key.
Tell me more about this key.
Constructs are awakened by a key.
Yes.
Aye. Constructs do not have a soul like you or I. Not until that soul is given. This key unlocks the stone and prepares it for the ebb and flow of a Maker's life force. In fact, it will bring to life most any construct you find in the realm.
And what makes you think I have a soul, old one?
Isn't that what troubles you?
Uh-huh.
How will I know when I've found this construct?
Constructs are beings of boulder and stone, animated by a Maker's life force. Most possess but a fraction of a soul, just enough to drive them and give them purpose. But through others course the whole of a Maker's being, his memories and emotions, a story half remembered. Life weighs heavy on us all. Not even stone can bear it.
If wardens can resist corruption, why not use them to cleanse your realm?
Sadly, the wardens were called when the seals were broken. The Maker's toll to be paid at the end war. This warden is all that remains.
Then the seals were broken.
That voice line's always bothered me, because what he should say is then the seals were broken. That's how it should be enunciated, because he's trying to express doubt, which I think is an example of poor voice acting direction. There's not a lot of it, but it doesn't make sense the way he says it. So this is the Maker's Key, a forged key containing the essence of the Maker's powers. With it, Death can activate constructs, plural. There are multiple constructs that we can use.
The forge blazes again, Ryder, thanks to you. But that's no excuse to hang about. Have you not a construct to awaken?
Oh, sure, this key is special. Valus doesn't seem so impressed.
Aye. He mourns the loss of his friend.
Valus had a friend?
Och, aye. His great hammer splintered.
Yes, his hammer is his
It
friend.
felled many a giant. But Valus lost it in a dungeon west of here, and it weighs heavy.
And those shadows have
If you
really
can find
screwed up.
Splinterbone and return it to my brother, you will earn his gratitude. Mayhaps the forging of a proper weapon.
Why use a key to awaken the constructs?
Spirit doesn't pass through stone, unless you carve a channel for it. That's what the key is for. It's sharp enough to slide through the stuff of life. Be careful where you point it.
What was Valus doing in a dungeon?
We hoped to restore the shattered forge within, but it was corrupted and overrun by the sea and vermin. We barely escaped with our lives, no thanks to Khan.
You let that pup guide you?
Aye. At the time we did not see the harm, but Karn would do anything to prove himself. I fear one day he will go too far.
Yes.
Alice has been busy. There are new items.
So there are more and more things that we can buy, but you'll notice that in terms of cost,
You will find the hammer.
they
just
are
past
really
the
quite
fjord.
expensive.
The Stone Father be with you, horseman.
May the makers pour.
One thing actually I wanted to try. It's possible that will fix the shadows. I remember reading somewhere that said that high shadow quality actually caused more problems than it solved. Okay, so we've got a couple of things that we can go and do. That's our waypoint to return to the Drenched Fort. This is our map, incidentally, of this particular realm. As you can see, there are quite a few. There's Blackroot. Quite a few different places you can go. There's the cauldron that we've been to, through the Charred Pass. That's Vulgrim there. Tree of Life. But next, we're heading up to the Lost Temple. And because it's such a big game, and the developers love us, they've given us the option.
I have to go alone.
No, you do not. They've given us a fast travel option. Solace! You'll notice that these enemies do not scale. Apparently, in Darksiders 3, the entire world will scale with us. I'm quite intrigued as to how that is going to work. So this is a little mini dungeon. Which we need to venture through to get to our goal. And this is where we get to use our Maker's Key for the first time. Oops. So we've got some corrupted, sorry, tainted constructs here. Just up the corner. They are not much to worry about. I really must go and buy some skills as well. What the? Pretty certain that's not where I threw that. Shall we try that again, game? It is worth remembering that the remastered edition of the first game actually came out after this edition of the second game. So a lot of the things that they learned from this, like for example their shadows and stuff, have improved because of that. No. That pit, though, can't get through there. Ugh. I really don't like these enemies. Come on, Stinger Hive. Taste my wrath. Feel my blades. Sorted. Yeah, my general thoughts on Darksiders 2 is that I like the scale and I like the story, but I'm not always a huge fan of the systems. Combat is just a little... Oh, there. The combat is just a little bit too spammy and fast. But the world building and production values and everything are excellent. It's clear a lot of love and time was put into it. I think this, yeah, that opens our shortcut back up to the surface. So we shall continue making our way through this little mini place next time. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing. Remember to ring the bell to be notified when new videos go live. And until next time, toodle pip.